Hi guys, welcome back to Underwater Astrology, giving you the astrology for the week of November 4th to November 11th. I hope you guys had an amazing week last week, and I'm excited to give you guys the astrology for this week for all 12 zodiac signs. Aries rising. Life is so sweet for you guys. We have Sun in 11 degrees Scorpio in your 8th house, and it moves 7 degrees and Sun in Scorpio in the 8th house. Mercury's in 21 degrees Scorpio in your 8th house, and it transits to Mercury in 2 degrees Sagittarius to your 9th house. Venus is in Virgo 25 degrees in your 6th house, and it transits just about 8 degrees into Venus and Libra in your 7th house. Mars is in 16 degrees Scorpio in your 8th house, and it transits about 4 degrees into Mars, further into Mars and Scorpio, into Mars in 20 degrees Scorpio in your 8th house. Jupiter is in retrograde, moves back a degree in Taurus. Saturn is direct at the start of this week, November 4th. And it's all about this degree of realizing the potentiality of your dreams. We've had retrograde station in this degree for a while now, just about 2 weeks. A lot of you are seeing the pure intention of this life for you to really live your dreams and live your passion. Uranus stays in 21 degrees Taurus this entire week in retrograde in your 2nd house. Neptune stays the same in Pisces in retrograde. Pluto is direct in 28 degrees Capricorn, transiting your 10th house. True nodes in your 24 degree staying the same. South nodes in 24 degrees in your 7th house, and Chiron's in 16 degrees and Aries in your 1st house. Aries rising. I want to say this week is about really seeing how to get your personality more organized, how to feel less sensitive with your authentic self, and how to realize that some things are so deep that is it worth ignoring, right? When some of you are in pain, Aries rising, this week I see the Sun in Scorpio, 11 degrees. For a lot of you, I see this feeling of needing to embrace the deep connection you have to yourself, and this is how you're going to breathe. Maybe you're having some separation with some intimate relationship that was going out of hand, or some kind of job that was just too stressful. Maybe a lot of you are wrapping up a temporary job by the end of the year, and you're just kind of going through a mental appraisal of what you learned. I feel like it's super important to realize when you start feeling that you are being, even you as an Aries rising, when you guys are feeling rushed, that you take a second and you realize that there is hope. I think some of you have deep wounded trauma here, and it's about reconnecting to how you can feel closer to nature. Some of you might have had abusive parents and have been seeing yourself through this lens for so long, and I see this being a time where you needing to go, some of you, to a friend or something and relay something a little bit more lighthearted, because you've just been empathizing with so many people. You don't realize that everybody has trauma, even you, and your heart, you need to give some light to your heart. So this week I think is a great week for Aries rising to meet up with friends or just get communicating and feel this lighter connection to something, because sometimes with Chiron in your sign in your 1st house, you maybe feel like everybody's using you, but at the same time you're also helping everyone heal so much. But I also feel like by the time the end of this week, we go into Venus and Libra, so there is this bit of light in your relationships. I feel like there is a new shift in relationships. There's a lightness here. Libra opposes Aries, so in a lot of ways, you're building the bridge to seeing how you've healed, but how you deserve different and more balanced partnerships. So maybe you're finding new ways of expanding your business by the end of the week through, maybe in the beginning of the week you're focusing on other people so much that by the end of the week you're kind of like, okay, I'm getting ready to move on to different, better projects where I can see myself more. For Taurus rising this week, I really do think it's about understanding that there will be pain at times with your relationships, but staying through with the pain. Sun in 11 degrees Scorpio is transiting 7 degrees into Sun in 18 degrees Scorpio in your 7th house. This week is all about relationships. We have Mars here, we have Mercury here, and then it goes into Sagittarius eventually. It's about understanding that you are here to see the depth of someone's soul with Scorpio in 7th house. You're not here to back out at any moment. You're staying on that person. You're reaching the fulfillment of staying through the really thin moments and the really thick, juicy moments. It's about learning how to understand you have Uranus in retrograde in your 1st house, and you also have Jupiter in retrograde. And these signs are kind of asking you to create some kind of beautiful story about who you're becoming. A lot of character development is happening for Taurus rising. It's really that simple, and this is attracting people to you. It's because you're becoming so jovial and cool. People are like, yeah, like I want to hang out with the Taurus. Like, they're funny. They're taking things more lighthearted. Having Jupiter and Uranus in your sign is like the coolest person. Like, everybody wants to buy your product. Everyone wants to help you. It just might not be right now, especially like Taurus rising. You guys are the most patient sun and rising sign, for some of you both. So it's about temperance here, tempering the need for seeing the depth of someone in your relationships, but also understanding that people are coming to you, Taurus. You guys are going to be one of the richest signs over the next few years. It's about learning how to create more clients, hold these clients accountable, but also realize your business is growing. So you want to have this free-flowing personality that's customizable to everyone. You want to be able to see everyone here, and that's what's going to attract you more money. We do have the True Node and Chiron in your 12th house, telling me you guys are working through some of these barriers, some of these limiting fears that you might have, but you're blowing through them. As time moves, you're blowing through them, and that's creating more abundance in your work routine. You're getting so inspired. There's so many routines. You're helping people. Neptune is in a perfect aspect for you guys in retrograde till December 6th in 25 degrees Pisces this week in your 11th house, telling me that you guys just kind of want to get inspiration from different people. Like, maybe you don't want to work with the same people all the time, so you want to collaborate. And this collaboration is up to you, how you choose to work with this beautiful trine with Taurus rising. Do you want to collaborate with the same people, or do you want to collaborate with people who are maybe more harder to find? Or some of you are working on movies and are looking for characters. Do you want to work with the same actors and actresses you've been working with in the past, or do you want to look for other kinds of people that you might find in a very unconventional circumstance but might produce very positive, engaging results? This is the week where I want you to think, Taurus rising, about I want to be inspired. How can I be inspired? What is my project? And how am I going to finish something and accomplish these little tasks to bring in more clients? For Gemini rising, this week is really about understanding that the relationship between Gemini sun and Scorpio sun, and Gemini rising as well, is an inconjunct, otherwise known as a quincunx. So for a lot of you guys, it's about just being your fun, quirky self and realizing you will gain traction through being who you are authentically, especially with North Node Aries here, beautifully trining your Gemini or Gemini sun, Gemini rising aspect, and that is bringing more authentic social groups, so people who you really deeply, authentically resonate with. It's really that simple this week. The South Node is in Libra in your 5th house, and it's about learning that love is something that we all have to reckon with, this mirror reflection at times, and how our lovers really deserve the best of us. How have we not given our lovers the best of who we are? And how have we held back? Or how have we chosen to put them under the bridge when they deserve to feel more cozier in the relationship? This is the week where, for some of you Gemini rising, with this South Node Libra and 24 degrees in your 5th house. It's really about embracing, for some of you, your authentic projects, be a little bit more lighthearted about it, and realize there's no problem in understanding that some of us might be soul searching. I agree. There's a lot to try to understand, especially with Pluto and Capricorn and 28 degrees in your 8th house. You want to get to the depth of what's going on in the world at times. You're so deeply curious in this longevity. You're so deeply curious in your legacy. You're so deeply curious in how you're leaving behind who you are every day. And it's so deep for you. But the lighthearted energy from the South Node Libra, it's not South Node South Node Scorpio anymore. It's South Node Libra. So the collective is going to want you to pick up the pace and start realizing that as a collective, we went through our Scorpio purge. I want to call it a purge. Whatever that South Node, North Node, Taurus, South Node, Scorpio was a purge of everything we couldn't be in these upcoming years. Why? Because we had South Node in Scorpio, and Scorpio is a sign of survival. Now we have to be super in survival, especially in Scorpio season. And now we have South Node Libra. So we're going through a purge of who we absolutely can't be in our relationships. We don't have time to be angry and getting mad at the people we love. We need to start being more creative. We need to start building better communities. We need to start understanding quiet hours and why people need quiet time so that you can understand how you fit your depth of your soul in what you're doing with the community. You don't want to be too outside in the woo of the confusion. You want to be in the good spiritual curiosity. And that's this week is about creating healthy spiritual curiosity through your own validation. So it's a big week for you, Gemini rising. But the best part is that you're getting so inspired in your quietness, in your self-reflection, and those moments when you get those hits of enlightenment, and that's what people want to hear about. And that's what makes you an amazing person, is you guys do communicate about those moments. For Cancer rising, this week is really about understanding that we are in Sun and Scorpio in 11 degrees in your 5th house, and it's transiting 7 degrees to Sun and 18 degrees Scorpio in your 5th house. It's really about understanding that we have a Scorpio stellium with Mercury in Scorpio at the beginning of the week and Mars in Scorpio, but by the end of the week, Mercury does go into Sagittarius. So it really is about understanding Cancer rising. You guys really need to understand that there is so much support for you, right? Like, everybody takes care of their Cancerian friend. There is definitely someone who can help you advance in your career this week. True Node, Aries, 24 degrees. It's about understanding there are sometimes these gruesome processes, especially with Cancer having the exoskeleton of a crab, with the Cancer rising, you get so shy, but you're really soft on the inside. It's about understanding that what have you been through? And what this Chiron and Aries in retrograde in 16 degrees is telling me is that you guys need to sit down and journal what you've been through in your career so that you can feel as though you're rewarding yourself in the process of acknowledging where you've been. So that is really exciting. We have Saturn in 0 degrees Pisces. So yeah, this is really about understanding that some of your belief systems have not been fully developed because we were in retrograde and Saturn in 0 degrees for 2 weeks, and now it's moving direct in 0 degrees. So it's really about understanding what it means to be behind the wheel of your own life, driving the car with Pluto and Capricorn in the 7th house, transiting the 7th house. We've been here for $16 years, Cancer rising. We've had Pluto and Capricorn for 16 years. Mind you, that brief moment of Pluto and Aquarius last year for about 2 months. But we've been with Pluto and Capricorn in the seventh house. So it's really about understanding that when you're driving the car with your relationships, it's really about understanding like the velocity really matters here. Like you don't want to just destroy everything you've worked so hard to build. When I see Pluto transiting the seventh house, it's the little steps that really matter. It could just be understanding yourself more and working on, for some of you, a business idea. For some of you who are not in relationships with the sun in 11 degrees Scorpio, it's really about understanding how can I be more passionate and bridge the gap between that sun, my natal sun or my natal rising sun in Cancer, or Cancer rising opposed Pluto and Capricorn, this bridge to a more powerful relationship, but understanding that takes a lot of time. Pluto is one of the slowest moving planets. In the meantime, I suggest you see where you have been, and that just makes all the growth that much more fun. For Leo rising this week, we have Sun in 11 degrees Scorpio in your fourth house, transiting 7 degrees Sun in Scorpio in your fourth house still. This week, Leo rising, it's about understanding that Leo and Scorpio is just a square. There's a lot of spiritual growth that needs to happen. But understanding with squares, it's about, I feel like I see a lot of Leo risings just doing the same thing they usually do, but realizing there might be like a little bit of a shift in their routine, like, oh, they ran out of this food, or like my computer stopped working, or like my light stopped working, or like I need to change something in my engine, or just these little minute problems. But I think a lot of it stems from realizing when we enter any kind of square relationship with a sign that you need to be 10 times more organized. When we enter, like, for example, Taurus season, Scorpio, those seasons for Leo rising, we need to be more organized because things are more likely to change at times. There's just variations because it's a square. It requires you to be more focused, more driven, and noticing the errors before they produce more problems. And so by that time, you feel a lot more safer in just you doing you like you usually do, but understanding that even in you doing you, there are problems that can occur. So just making the environment more safe,